Boy, oh boy, am I sick of those individuals that desire something in the world but cannot achieve it, especially those individuals who care about freedom and self ownership and morality and other human beings in today's world. And they may express it with anger, they may express it with passion, but I care for everybody who simply expresses their honest, authentic self. And those are the individuals I look for to be a part of the projects that I create. But I create these projects because no one else has created these projects. They should have been created 20 years ago as a template to say, hey, this is how we can change the world. And we can do so by encouraging our neighbors and doing real life events and getting out there. And that's what I'm doing. So I want you to be a part of it. I'm going to share with you site navigation for the liberator.us, a website that I created, which is a one-stop hub for everything truth, freedom, morality, ownership, spirituality, health, all of it. For those who care about real liberty and want to optimize human existence, the Liberator 2 offers a way for anyone to create action, network, and get involved to make it possible. We encourage anyone to be writers, content creators, activists, reprinting our weekly newspaper or newsletter, reposting our own videos, and sharing all the great work done by this community, which welcomes everyone. For those of you who have, thank you. And as you may know, I do all this work completely for free and totally just for the educational purpose. You know, there's a lot of independent media, and I could say, hey, 100% they're doing it for the money. And if they were truly in it for the truth, there's a billion things they can do, but because they are stuck on their business model, they aren't doing it. And I'm not like that. I'm going to constantly seek out innovation and seek out new ideas. And I encourage you to do the same thing if you truly care about these ideas and want to evolve the human destiny. We have held massive events, both online and in person, with a lot of change happening due to this project and its efforts. Among being the only source of educational news focused on true freedom, morality, philosophy, psychology, and voluntarism, we have a vast collection of great articles and resources for everyone at any stage of their current knowledge. Let us observe just some of the great site pages on the Liberator 2 news found on the liberator.us. So the home page features articles and videos, live streams, merch, and other directories. Importantly, there is an events section on this page. You can also share your music, your events, your activism, and you may even be interviewed for your personal experience. Now, the networking page found on the liberator.us/network gives you the ability to share your server or group and have it featured on the site. The What is Slavery page on the liberator.us/slavery tells us the root cause problem to all evil and tyranny in the world, whereas the What is Abolitionism page on the liberator.us/abolitionism tells us the root cause solution for all that is grassroots, timeless, and universal change. More learning resources are on the liberator.us/resources. You'll actually get to that page as well if you sign up for the free weekly newsletter that you can find again on the home page. And for resources, we have documentaries, we have movies, we have downloadable books. It's all there, okay? Now, the How to Share page on the liberator.us/share tells us many ideas and strategies for how to create more of an impact and further network with others. Importantly, there is also some printable material you can use for any event or in your community. The quiz page on liberator.us/quiz challenges anyone on their own mentality to see if they truly support freedom or if instead they support slavery. People may not recognize that they are supporting slavery until these questions are asked. The Send Your Article page on the liberator.us/send allows you to send us any material of your own to be included in our newspaper, newsletter, and videos across many platforms. The Liberator 2 Showcase page on the liberator.us/show allows you to record a simple 1-minute video and be part of a huge event alongside many other speakers. We even edit your clip for you. This also comes with an interview opportunity, so be sure to check that out. For our specific pages, we have the liberator.us/nonviolence, which tells us more about the exact action we may partake in with the most powerful and non-contradictive strategies verified by history. The liberator.us/Tao teaches us about the ancient Chinese esoteric philosophy of Taoism and how we can return to nature and freedom in all aspects of our life. The liberator.us/politics tells us the problems with voting and using paperwork as a means for true freedom and committing to self-ownership. Here is also detailed why the many efforts for freedom has never worked throughout history. The liberator.us/psychology shows us powerful, ignored, banned psychological experiments proving the root cause to all evil in the world, as well as insights from famous psychoanalyst Dr. Carl Jung. And finally, the liberator.us/food tells us that we can become easily self-sustainable in food and medicine. It shows us the use of food forest and permaculture. So these resources all combined can really help anyone on their progress to becoming a better individual or helping their community become more free, or be more prepared to become free when the time is right to say, I'm not going to put up with this anymore. I said it's simple as 4 steps, okay? You have something that brings everybody together, a movement, a flag, whatever it is, that you can also show to the world. You then educate those individuals on the root cause to all the problems in the world, which again concerns nature. So that can be natural moral law, that can be food forest, that can be voluntarism, the things that hit at the root cause to the problem. And then from there, pretty naturally on its own, you can expect people to say, well, when are we going to get out of this system? Because now we can. We have the ability to grow our own food. We have the ability to defend ourselves. So when are we just going to stand on that principle? So the community or the individuals may choose and say, hey, you know what? We're going to document this and we're just going to stand our ground and not pay taxes. We're not going to go along with this system. Okay? Now, they're voluntarily doing this with their own money, and they're not harming anybody in the process. They're just living their life, right? And then when individuals come and try to coerce them, they'll be exposing themselves because they'll be like, listen, we come in peace. We don't come in violence. We don't come to cause any problems. We're just living our own life. And they can record it too, and they can show the rest of the world. And then people are starting to see this hypocrisy that is a system that claims to protect you, when in reality, it's violating very much peaceful people who are just living their life. So that's just a little nutshell of what I envision the change in the future to be, as simple as can be. It's just a bunch of people saying, no, that's it. The lost word, no, I'm not going to put up with it. And a lot of the resources that we have on the liberator.us can help individuals understand, yes, we can come from a position of peace. Yes, we can overwhelm the system with peace, and we can actually win in the end. And we can always approach with love, because that's the world that we want to achieve. That's the world that we want for the future, for our children. This is why we care about them, is if we're not going to take action, who will? Right? And also, so much of independent media and the media in general don't talk about the psychology, what's changing the world from the very grassroots. They're talking about symptoms and what rises to the surface. They're talking about people, they're talking about events, but they're not talking about the big ideas. And so that's very problematic, because if you want to evolve humans as a whole and raise their consciousness per se, then you have to introduce ideas that are new and things that are going to challenge the status quo. And they may not be popular even in these communities or among online. They may not be a good business model, but over time people will catch on to it and recognize it's life-changing, that people will eventually start sharing it, and it will become big. Until that becomes the norm, that becomes, the known truth, and then there's other truth that then has to rise to the surface. And so that's going to be a cycle of history of what truth is hidden. But for what truth we can recognize now with technology and the internet, I did find the root cause problem to the world, and many others have as well. And that's why we talk about statism and voluntarism. Now, if you think there's any other root cause, you let me know, and I'll be able to evaluate it, right? But the reason why statism is the root cause problem in this world is because it's the very thing that gives away your own authority over your own body, and giving away nature's authority to some strangers, some people that claim that they can rule over your life. It's the very thing that then allows them to do anything they want because you're giving them the position of God, the position of having more rights than you. Then of course they're apt to abuse it, and of course there's going to be corruption, and of course there's going to be all the problems that we see in the world. But unless we get to the root cause, we'll never actually address those problems. So, let this project be yours. Let this media organization be yours. It's totally free and independent. You can represent it. You can use your own business cards. You can have your own name. Use it. This is your platform. This is why I create my projects. They're all for everybody. Thank you very much for watching. This is Corey at Ninjalot. Nature is the answer. TheLiberator.us. That's TheLiberator.us.